I'm just, starting the first subquery topic from our code shell, and I'll just share that with you. So what we do is that a subquery is a select statement within the where. So, generally the select statement comes before the where, but what we are saying a subquery is a select statement within the where or having clause. So if we write a select statement within the where for like where condition or where clause, it becomes a subquery, because subquery will go to a particular table and try to find out the information from there, and it will bring it over there. And then the main select statement, that is, the main query, so to speak, that will extract that information. And on the basis of that extract information, it will just, run that one. So select something, 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 where column operator, and then select comes over here. So this is very interesting. Again, we have something being selected over here, and then it is being used for the main feed or the main query that we have. So select where column in, and then we can have a select query. Select where column not in, we can have a query, and these are all called nested queries. Subqueries typically means the nested queries as well. They are called nested queries, and these nested queries will be very, very important in a way that in those situations where we know that we need some information from a particular table, and then from that particular table we want to just we want to have something, and then use that as the basis to be used for the particularly other queries. So for that reason, but we use these nested queries or subqueries. Now, example one, two separate queries. What are the student numbers of those students who have committed type A offense? So again, this is some offense table where students have been marked that for a typical offense. And what we are doing is that we are trying to find out that what are those students that have done A offense. So we say we select student number from student offense where penalty code is equal to A. So A type of offense has been done by particular students, right? Vishwas, good afternoon. And then what are the final marks for students? So now if you say select student number, final mark from customer student, from course student, sorry. So what is happening is that basically these are the two queries. Now, if we combine all of these two, you see that what will happen, like, both of these two. What are the course grade for students who have committed type A academic offense? So some students who have committed an type A offense, and we want to know the course grades for those particular students. Now, for that reason, what we'll do is that we will combine those queries. So what we say, select CS student number, CS dot final mark from course student CS, student offense SO, like, from select these two things where CS student is equal to SO dot student number and SO dot penalty code is equal to A. So if we join them, you remember we have talked about that these subqueries are typically another form of joining the queries. So if we join them, what we are doing, we are just saying that, okay, there is a CS, course student, there is a SO, student offense, these two tables, and do what? Just go there whenever these two conditions match, and penalty code is also is equal to A. So it's again that if and else in condition, where we are saying that if two students, if one student has got offense of A and his number is equal to the student number, from that course student. So again, joining them all. So this is the join. Now, example 1B, if we use a subquery instead, that is quite interesting. We are using subquery. Select student number, final mark from course student, where student number is equal to. Now see here how beautifully what we are doing. We are saying where student number is equal to what? Run another query over here. This query goes to student number for the student number from student offense. So again, we are not joining the table, rather we are using a subquery, right? So go to the student offense, find out penalty code is equal to A for all those students, and extract that all those students will come here, and the student number will be matched with all those, where that student number will come out and match that with A, and we will get all the course students From the course students, we'll get all the student number and final mark of those students which have committed an offense A over here. The semantics, the understanding, the general understanding of that one. The search condition where clause is evaluated for each row in the course student table. That's a very important semantical understanding. When we say semantical understanding, what we are talking about, we are saying that the real meaning, how it is basically working inside. The inside working is called the semantical understanding. When you say that, for example, in our real world, when we say that semantics make you understand the statement. So it is just mentioning that for where clause, each, the search condition where clause is evaluated for each row in course student table. So course student table, every student will come up over here and his number will be matched with this one. So if that student has committed the offense A, that would be matched and that would be selected. Make sense? So one after the other, one after the other. For this main query, this subquery will run on one table and for every row of that one table. If the student number column matches a value, that is student number computed by the query, then the where condition evaluates to true. And whenever where condition evaluates to true, it's actually, what? It will generate a number. That number will be plugged in over here and this query will become a query. You know what I mean? So these two are basically what? The semantics. Now, if I just come here, subqueries with relational operators. We can have relational operators. And we are very much familiar with the relational operators. In every language you discuss or study these relational operators. In the same way, SQL does also have these relational operators. And we can use these relational operators to show the relationship of different queries amongst themselves. So now see here, if the query returns a single value and a single row, a relational operator equal to greater, not equal to, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to can be used. If it is returning a single value, right? Select something, 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 where column is equal to this, where column is not equal to this. If the subquery returns a single value, this is very important point to note. If the subquery is returning a single value for us, so do what? We have to use these operators, logical relational operators. They are generally called as logical operators in most of the languages, if you have heard about. In JavaScript also, they are called logical or relational operators. So logical operators that we will be using and then can be used to just select. Why? Because there is only one value is coming up over here. If the subquery returns set of values, now if the set of values are coming up, use a quantifying operator. Quantifying operator. These are called quantifying operators. In, some, any, all. Why? Because the return of the subquery is basically coming up as a set of values, as a set of multiple values. So there can be multiple values. But you see here in this condition, we are just talking about, this was the join, by the way. If you look at over here, that here what we are saying, select student number from student offense where penalty code is equal to A. We are selecting one at a time. So it is just bringing up one value at a time. And it just, evaluates that one value at a time. Subquery and not equal to operator. This is called not equal to, right? So what are the course grades for students who have not committed type A offense? If, we are going the other way around. Tell me the course grades of all those students who have not committed type A offense. So now we are going the other way around. That tell me all those students. So look at that. Select student number, final mark from course student, where student number is not equal to, select student number from student offense where penalty. So, it will even still select one student and then it will match that one. If does not match, the name will come out. If it matches, the name will not come out. Are you guys getting that one? So now it will collect all those. Relational operator works if the subquery returns, and we have talked about that. Relational operator actually works when, we have that, the query is returning a single value. Okay, so now let's come back. What are the course grades for students who have a negative balance? Right, negative balance. So select student number, final mark from course to student where student number is equal to, select number from student where balance is less than 0. Now you see here, now here It might be result is a runtime error. Why? Because subquery returned more than one value. Because there can be multiple students with less than zero balance. Make sense, everyone? So there can be multiple students with the less than, because here it's selecting the number, but because it would be returning multiple values. So this is result will be a runtime error. Why? Because we cannot use equal to over here, right? And instead, what will we use? We'll have to use in or not in. Now see here, if subquery return would return multiple rows, a quantified subquery predicate must be used. For example, in or not in. Now select where column in if there is a set coming up. We are not in if there is a set coming up. If there are multiple values coming up, we'll see that, okay, that means that it has to be using quantified subquery predicate. Now remember that these are called quantified subquery predicate. Look at that. These are quantified subquery predicates. So it's basically, in, some, any, or all, whenever there are multiple values being returned by one of the query. In subqueries are very commonly used in practice. So in, we will be using that in is equivalent to the syntax of equal to any or some. We have these two commands. Subqueries with and or not in. Correction to original example 3, nested query using in. So look at that, use nested query, and here they are using nested query over here. So subquery. So correction, select student number final mark from student number where student number in, select all those which have balance less than 0 and match student number with one of them. So whenever it is matched, it will come out. If it is not matched, it does not come out. And the opposite version, the negative version, is that what? Not in. Select student number file mark from course student where student not in. If it is not, student is not here, whose balance is less than 0, then only select that student. Otherwise, do not select that particular student. Why? Because they have got balance greater than 0. Like they don't have balance less than 0. Can I have a response from everyone who are here? Can a general thumbs up should work fine. Sunil, thank you, wonderful. Sampri, thank you. Can everyone also come up? Okay, maybe I missed out someone's. Anyhow, let's move forward. Example 5, subquery within. So what are the names of the employees who work in the School of Business? So select last name, first name from person, where number in, the number of the person, find out, select number from employee, where school code is equal to business, like BUS. So basically what it is doing, it's actually going into that one and bringing up with a number of the employees, and those employees that are coming up, they have their school code equal to business, BUS for the business, and they have the school code of business, and that would be basically used over there. So that school code is BS. Now, so using any function or some function, that's very interesting. If we use any, not any function, it's actually any predicate, and we will be using that one. Select last name, first name from person where number is equal to any. Now select number from employee where school code is equal to business. So any means any of the values that are coming up, right? And it can be variant to some values. So some values, again, whenever it is matching with this sum of the values of the coming of the business school, that person will be selected. Right? So now let's move forward. Example 7, subqueries with exists. So look at that. What are the names of the employees who work in the School of Business? So select last name, first name from person P where exists. Select asterisk from employee E where P dot number is equal to E dot number. So again, P dot number is again person dot number is equal to employee dot number, and business school code is equal to bus. If you look at that, this P dot number, this is coming up is a correlation reference to the column in the outer block. So it will just make a column in the outer block because this P is something from outer block. So P dot number will come up over here. We'll just check with the E dot number and school code is equal to business. It will just return the name of those person, those people who are working with the School of Business. Right. So P dot number is a correlation reference to the column in the outer block. So again, it's an outer block thing, which is basically making a correlation between them. Exist and exist predicate evaluates the subquery for the existence of any rows in SQL Server will halt the execution of the subquery once the first row is found and the predicate evaluates to true. Now this is interesting. Exist predicate does what? It evaluates a subquery. So it will evaluate, for any rows. SQL Server will halt the execution of subquery once the first row is found and the predicate evaluates to true. So that's quite interesting. If it finds the first row which is matching the criteria of what is required, it will stop finding for the others. So the expression in the select list of the subquery does not matter. It is typically an asterisk, but it could be, for example, a literal constant. Now see here. Select last name, first name from person P from exists. Person P, where exists, select static from employee, where location is equal to 4A17 and P dot number is equal to E dot number. Again, outer reference. Right? So outer reference is coming up over here. So it will exist. And again, whenever it finds one of the value where location is equal to 4A17 and P dot number is E dot number, it will just stop there and it will return, or it will execute that query and return the results. In the same way, not exists. So again, same way, similarly, a not exist predicate is evaluated for the existence of any rows. SQL Server will halt the execution of subquery once the first row is found. If a row is found, the predicate evaluates to false. So again, if there's a row found and it will say not exists, it will say this exists and the row or the execution will halt over here because now it has found a row which is mismatching the current requirement or current given values of that one. Are you guys getting that one? So this is just the reverse of that, not exists. Okay, examine columns with comparable data type. The column names don't have to be matched as long as the data type is comparable. Select student number final mark from course student, where student number is equal to select top one number from student order by balance descending. So again, it will just go there and it will just, top one student number. It will just select one number from the student. Note that the use of top one for the subquery to return a single value. So again, equal to top one will just make it a single value query return. If there was no single query return, what would have happened? If I take away select top one from here, select number from student order by balance descending, it might have multiple values, ordered by descending order. So that would become a problem. So that's why top one is making this query acceptable for equal to sign, the logical operation. Or whatever you call it, logical or relational operation. It makes it possible because it finds out that, okay, the value is coming up as one value. And why? Because this will be just typically showing that we have got these values over there on that one, right? So top one. So subquery in select list 1 to 1. Now see here, subquery is logically recomputed for each row in the output. As with nested queries, a scalar subquery in queries select list can reference expressions from its parent block. Remember, parent block, it can have a subquery can have a value that can go to the outer block and find out over there the values. Such outer reference, E dot number, are treated as constant value for that query's execution. They're considered as a constant value. Remember this is an important point, that the values or the values that represent the outer subquery, they are considered as the constants, they're treated as a constant value for the subquery's execution. So see here, E dot number, E dot school code, select P dot first name, P dot last name from person P, where P dot number equal to E dot number. E dot number is again from something from the top one as employee. So from employee E, where E dot location is equal to 4A17. So you can see that. So this is something from outer block, which is being calculated over here. And it will just, make the possible that your P number, the person number, is matching to the employee number while it is just retracting the value. I'll see you some examples shortly. How to code a subquery in select list. To code a subquery properly, examine the relationship between the tables. The goal is to ensure the subquery produce one result row for each of the row master table. So again, it has to have, one-to-one relationship type of something, that it has to just correlate, or it has to just, produces at least one result per row for each row of the master table. So by master table, we mean the outer table that is being under consideration. And by using that one, if your query is basically producing a single value or examining a single relationship, then it would be to ensure that one. So get the names of all people who paid more than 1,000 at a time and the amount they paid. Use the person and payment tables. The relationship between the person and payment table is one to one, one to many, sorry, and one person can make multiple payments. So see that. Subquery selected one to many. A subquery in select list must return a single value scalar, so we must start with the payment table. So look at that. If you start with the person table, the query will fail because the subquery payment table may return multiple values. So you know why we are starting with the with subquery select list must return a single value scalar. So we start with the payment table because payment will be unique with that one. So look at that. What we do: select amount from payment where student number is equal to p dot number, right? And again, if that is a query, what we do from person P where p dot number in select student from payment where amount is greater than 1,000. Now here, look at that. When there are multiple values expected, because there might be multiple students where amount is greater than 1,000 or 100, whatever. And for that reason, what we have used, in over here. So whenever there is multiple values coming up, we have to have in or any predicate that represents a set of values. But if we know that there can be only one value that will come out, then we will just use equal to or logical operations that we have. 9C, subquery in select list. Many to one. If we start with a payment table, the query works because the subquery returns a single value, that is 1% per payment. And that's very interesting. Unless the subquery is returning a single value, we are not concerned with that one because it would be. So look at that. Select first name from person where number is equal to paid out student number. Last name from person where number is equal to paid out student number. So again, it is just returning one value. If it is returning one value, don't worry about that. Use the equal to. Right? From payment pay, where pay amount is greater than 1,000. So again, this is just an example over here. This is just point. And these are working over there. Complex example of subquery in the select list. So again, if we have multiple tables and we have find all software installed in all labs in the Dune campus using software, lab stores, and room. Answer: because lab software is a joint table and can have many software rows connected to many rows, we need to start with that table. So look at that. Complex and one to many, many to one. Select product from software where unique ID is equal to software unique ID. Select number from room where ID is equal to is dot root ID. Now, from lab software is where is dot where ls, this is the lab software, this ls is basically equal to in select ID from room where campus code is equal to D and is lab is equal to 1. So in one lab, there can be multiple. It's a bit complex one because one into many, many into one. The relationship is basically being assured there. But what we do is that if you look at that, because lab software is a joint table and can have many software rows connected to it, many rows, we need to start with that table. So we'll start with that table and we'll just run. Now see that. So practice join versus subquery. Find all courses which are offered in CPA program, show course names, campus, and semester for which course is offered. Use these SIS tables, program course, and campus. We'll just talk about that one and we'll just do that one for you. First of all, let's do something interesting over here. I'll open up my SSMS. SSMS. So using SIS tables, right? So I would like you guys to also start your management studio for a second. All those queries that we have seen, we'll just try to run that one. Can I have a quick feedback? You guys all have SIS installed into your machine, right? We have, I think I asked you to install that SIS. Vishwas, is the SIS with you? Like SIS database? Okay, Hitesh says yes. Okay, Hitesh, wonderful. SIS is there, wonderful. All right. Okay, so in databases, can you just see that Shahana does also have? Only Shahana and Hitesh have SIS, or you guys have this one, SIS? It has multiple tables. You can see it has a lot of tables. So let's come back over here and let's see all these examples that we have talked about. They are mostly from SIS. So look at that. Student offense is, yes, student offense. So let's first of all, again, use the command use SIS. Run this command and you see that SIS is selected. Wonderful. Now let's run the first command. Select asterisk from student offense. Let's see what is in student offense, right? Let's run this one only. Okay, we have got just one record. Copied another assignment. Student offense. Right. And again, if I just come here and run that command, select student number from student offense, not student offense, where penalty code equal to A. We have got just one A. So we just get the student number out of it, right? Okay. And now if you remember that, let's select that from that other course student, course student table. So if I just go and I say student number, final mark from course student. Let's run that one and see. So it just brings up all those students, student number and final mark from course student. So course student is basically this table. Make sense, everyone? So we have got those ones. So now we have got separately these two. If I come here and I write a course grades for students with type A offense, right? And let's first of all do that with join. Using a join. So let's select CS dot student number, CS dot final mark from course student. This table, and we alias it at CS and student offense. So SO where, so I'll call it SO, alias it SO, where CS dot student number is equal to SO dot student number. And not only that, and what is and? SO dot penalty code is equal to single quote A. Right. So penalty code A, but I'm just a little interested to know why we were having some in a student offense. We have how many people? It just shows one. Wonderful. Okay, so here we are what we are doing, and we are saying that from course student, just take out the name, the name where cs dot student number is equal to so dot student number, and then this A is there. Let me see that. So you see that it is the same student. The student number is the same, and it has this penalty code equal to A. So if this student number has multiple marks, and these marks are coming up over here. If you just look at that over here, if I run these two, you see this is the number of student, and here if you just find out that this student will have multiple offense over here, and it is just running those multiple offense over here, and that those offense are being collected over there. Makes sense, everyone? That this is just bringing up all those number and names for student offense is equal to A. So it has in this grade in final mark from one course, second course, third course, it's all A. But this is basically done with the using a join. So now why not? Let's do its B part using a subquery. Select student number, final mark from course student, right? Where? Now here comes that one, where student number equal to. Now here comes the subquery. Equal to, in that select student number from student offense, where penalty code equal to A. So it's the same output, but now by using a subquery. Yes. It's producing the result, and again, it's exactly producing the same result, and that is wonderful, because now we have got that we have got these values over here, and these values are coming up with the same one. So we have used a subquery over here. Make sense, everyone? Now let's use the not equal to over here. Not equal to, and let's say this is an example 2 for us. Select student number. Select a student number, final mark from course student, where student number again is not equal to, as I talked about, is not equal to. Now we have a query. Select student number from student offense, where penalty code equal to A. Right? So let's run this one. So again, not equal to. So you see that all those student numbers are coming, which do not have any record in our student offense. Is it making sense to everyone? This is now an example. Now let's talk about that. We were talking about that. What would be a runtime error if there are multiple values? Let's see that. Example 3, runtime error. And I'm not writing the reason because you remember the reason, and I'll just do that. Select student number, final mark from course student where student number is equal to. Now here what we are doing, we are writing a query that might return multiple values. Select number from student table, right? Where balance is less than 0. Right? So let's run that one. Look at that. Subquery returned more than one value. This is not permitted when subquery follows these logical operations. Make sense, everyone? This is again the same. So now if student number, if I just want to make it correct, what I'll do is I'll just write that in. Now it is not more, it should not be an error more anymore, but let's run that one. You see that now it is returning all those who do not have balance less than 0. So who have the balance less than 0. So it just comes up with that one. Right? So runtime error while using equal to, but fixed with in. Right? So I've just given one example in which we have just worked with both of them, right? Both of them. And again, we can just work with not in, just it's another shape. Not in, and again it's exactly almost the same. Just write the same query. And do what? Just here, not in. Let's run that. So it will just return those which are not in that balance is less than 0. It will just return those one. Right. So now we talked about the business employees. Let's see that. It's example 4 for us. Example 4. Select last name, comma, first name from person where number in. Now see here. Select number from employee where school code is equal to business. Right? School code is equal to business. Let's run that one. You see that these two employees are there, which are working from, for example, for our business. And again, whenever I'll just come here and I'll put an equal to over here because the subquery is returning multiple values, I should get an error. And that is subquery return more than one value. This is not permitted when using the subqueries. This syntax, we cannot use that one. Make sense, everyone? Let's see a few more examples and then we'll just take a break. That's if I just make it not this one, and again run this in. Let's run that, and we have Aruna Kumar and Kayase Wishes and Anna. First name is Reena and Anna, so it's basically they are there. So now if I just come here and next example 5. Oh, we had example 3, now example 4, right? I just remove that. Example 5, right? So example 5, or rather it would be 5A. So select last name, first name from person, where number equal to any. Now we are using any. Select number from employee, where school code is equal to business. Right? So let's look at that. Now, if I just come here and I run that one, you see that it is using any over here. And do you remember that we have seen in our, like, in our document, that if I just show you, yeah, it will any. So any, so it will just do that when we are using this any. What are names of the employees who work in the School of Business? So we can use in, we can use any, we can use some. So it will just return the results exactly in the same way, because we are using that now. So in the same way, if just that is used with some, if I just change it to some, I'll leave it like this, because it might not have too much effect on that one. Some. So again, it's just coming up exactly the same way, because it has just, mentioned over there. So last example before we go for a little quick break, example 6. Select last name, first name from person P, where exists. Where exists, and if I just come here, select asterisk from employee, where employee, we are just giving it alias equal to e dot number, again the inside one, and school code equal to business. Right, let's run that. It's again, it's returning the same one, but anyhow, what it is doing is now it's showing the exists one, and it checks that whether it exists over there, and it just returns that particular one. So we'll talk about one of the more, that is how to just come up with the rows, and that we will talk about after a short break. So let's take a break. It's 1:58, around 2:12, 2:13, we'll be back. Can you just all put just a chat message of yes, okay, or something? And I'll stop recording, by the way, because I will start again, because that would be